Okay, so I was supposed to do this video this weekend. Shout outs to my Skullomaniacs, Jay Fisk, Brady Rose. I'm doing this one because I told you I was gonna do it. You know what I mean? All our followers out there, this is something for the parents. So if you're not a parent of a young teenage kid, then this probably isn't for you. But there's some things that I should share in my own experience as of recently that people should know. Um, if your kids have cell phones and devices, iPads, even some gaming consoles, hand consoles like a Nintendo Switch and stuff like that, if they're messing around on Twitch or having friends that stream on YouTube, all that stuff, pay attention to that stuff because we are in a day and age, a different age, where uh, TV and media, video games too, is being over sexualized and geared towards kids. A good example of this, Snitchachi96, aka Daniel Hernandez. Yes, I'm calling his name out. You notice he rocks the rainbow hair and he does the rainbow grill and all this stuff, and he's got his album covers are all animated and stuff. Is geared towards infringing his negative shit onto the younger audience. He doesn't gear to the older crowd. The older crowd thinks he's trash. I've been a rap head. I was born in 1984. I've seen the evolution of rap, and this shit you guys listening to, trash. Trash doodles. Trash doodles. Lil Mo, Lil this, Lil that. Keep all that. You can keep that shit. Anyway, I digressed. That's the rap rant was a totally different thing. I wasn't even trying to go there, but that's another thing that just pisses me off in this fucking world. Pay attention to your kids' cell phones and social media devices. They're out there engaging in mature activity at as early as 11 years old. Now, where did I get that from? Now let me share my experience. My son is a preteen. I break down the levels of preteen in my head. 11 to 13 is a preteen. 14 and up is full teen. And then once you reach 17 towards 18, you're a young adult. Those are the gaps, the bridges that I see. At 11 years old, he already has a girlfriend, which I wasn't too happy about anyway. But that's some things that's some shit he got with his mom. You know what I mean? If she's okay with it, you know what I mean? I can't sit there and fight her over it. I'm not gonna do that. I just want him to be careful. But I walked into a conversation while he was on Fortnite with his friends that he goes to school with and sees on a regular basis. This is not just some online talking. These are actual kids he knows. And the conversations that they were having was appalling to a guy like me. I was raised to where now mind you, I was monitoring my son. My son didn't say anything negative because he was sitting right next to me. He knew he would have got popped if he did. But I made sure to let him know. I said, yo, look, listen, your friends, they curse too much. And if I ever catch you swearing like they swear, I'm knocking you the fuck out. I ain't playing. And I don't give a fuck who's listening on the other end of this shit. I discipline my son. And his mom disciplines him too. He not going to be out here acting up, sticking up kids for their shoes and shit like that. That ain't going to happen. Not on my motherfucking watch. So if you're a bad parent out there who doesn't watch their kids, I'm talking to you. Your kid is a piece of shit. And he's going to grow up a piece of shit because you don't care. Another digressed. But anyway, they was talking a conversation, and his one best friend is a male, and his other best friend is a female. And the two best friends were having a conversation while my son wasn't paying attention, and I just happened to be sitting in the room. And the male says to the female, whatever it was that I sent you, the picture in your inbox or whatever, just disregard that. I wasn't supposed to send that. I didn't feel comfortable sending that. At that point, my son had just walked in and caught the tail end of that conversation and went onto the microphone and said, hey, I thought we was a circle of friends. What's all this secret? The female then says to my son, Alex, I can't tell you what's going on here because if I do, it'll ruin our friendship. Now, to him, he probably didn't even catch on to that. But to somebody who's experienced with the opposite gender, such as myself, that pretty much says everything I need to say to me. The dude sent a picture of his cock to that girl and didn't say anything to anybody. Now, mind you, these kids are 11 and 12 years old. Now, as a parent, if I was to open up my son's phone and catch a nudie pic of a 12-year-old girl, I would be fucking mortified. Fucking mortified. With the child pornography and fucking child sex abuse and stuff like that, all that shit going on right now, the Jeffrey Epsteins and shit like that in the world, that is a fucked up situation, man. That's fucked up. And as a male and as a parent, and definitely an advocate against child sex abuse, child abuse of any kind, that's just horrific. That kids are at 11 years old. I was still trying to be a Super Saiyan. I ain't even trying to fucking. I'm not playing with you. I was training in the martial arts. I was up in the woods, punching trees. That's what I was doing at 11. 11 to 13, I was out being an athlete. I didn't even have an interest in girls. I didn't have an interest in girls at that time. I was gaming. I was skating, doing the stuff that heterosexual boys do. Okay, but now it's changed. I walked my son to school, and one day, and I used to go to Southern Middle School. Funny how the door revolves. He's now going to Southern Middle School, and it's a different world out there, guys. It's a different world for our kids. They're out there doing shit that we're doing at 30. They're already talking like that at 11. It's not good. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for other parents out there who don't know. And I'm not going to put the blame solely on them, because they can't actually, you got to work, you got to provide for your family and shit like that. And you can't actually be there all the time. All I'm saying is that don't be too busy for your children. Don't be too busy. Don't ever be too busy, because that could cost you later. I'm afraid now, because I know he's having sexual feelings about girls now. I'm afraid that he'll be doing that too early, and he's going to make me a young grandpa. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that shit. So I have to do this talk thing. That part's the easy part. The hard part for me is if he's already doing it before we even had a chance to discuss it. That would be the hard part for me. At this point, I don't know. I have no idea. And me and his mom are going to get together and discuss it at some point. But I want parents out there to be aware, please. Pay attention to your kids, man. Pay attention to them. Don't let them go out here without knowing what's going on out here in the world, man. Because the youth is fucked up today. And I know there's a lot of parents out there that look at these kids running down at the end of the school days or whatever. They're sitting out on their porch, grabbing their mail or whatever, and hear these kids just swearing like sailors and saying things and stuff that most people, even at 25, have a hard time trying to say, And it's bad. It's really bad. And I just want everybody to know that your kids have a secret life, and you need to pay attention to that shit. This is very important, because they are the future. Once I'm long and gone, my son is going to carry on my legacy, and I don't want him to be a fuck up. And if you don't want your kid to be a fuck up, be there, man. Be there. Be a parent. Don't be too busy to do that, It's the greatest joy for me. I have shit. I don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. But I'm proud to be a dad, I'm proud to be a dad, a good dad. Not just a dad, but a good one. I'm there. Even though me and my baby moms we haven't been in a relationship together in 8 years, we still ended up finding a common ground for our child. And niggas out there that are having problems with their baby moms, I know that could be stressful, man, but you need to find a common ground. If you love your kids, you find some kind of common ground, You got to bend a little bit. You got to kiss a little bit of ass, man. I hate the shit that's even the sound of that, because I'm a very proud Saiyan warrior here. Hint, hint. I'm proud. My pride is everything. But sometimes you got to bend, especially when you're raising in a two-parent household, separate. Two separate parent households. Your rules are going to be different from her rules and shit like that. And your kid, you have to try and work that in so your kid doesn't get too confused about what he's doing. You want the core principles for you and for your baby moms to be the same if she's a good one. If she's out there hoeing and stuff like that, I feel sorry for you. I can say that about my baby mom's not doing that. She works 2 jobs. She's engaged to be married to another man who happens to be really cool. I've met him. We've talked a few times. He's not a bad guy to me. That's where you want to be at. You don't want to be beefing with your baby moms, Don't do it, I already spent 30 days in a nut ward over that shit at the beginning. And it wasn't really her fault more than it was the dude she left me for at the beginning. Not the dude she's with now, but at the beginning, the relationship was in turmoil when we first broke up. It was bad. It was a really bad situation, and I had to suffer through that for at least 3 years before on the 4th year she finally matured up and said, all right, look, listen, this beefing between me and you is not going to work. And that was the beginning of day one of us finally reaching some kind of ground to raise our son right. Even though we're not together and we really don't get along that much. Like, we have a coaching relationship now. We're talkable. But we are not, no, we will never end up together again on any plane, even if she was the last girl on earth. You know what I mean? It's that's where we're at. I have no attraction to her at all anymore. So we're both okay with that. And I'm perfectly fine. She's my friend from a distance, arm's distance. She's my friend. And you have to be friends with her to make sure your son is raised right. And when she punishes him, I don't challenge that. And when I punish him, she don't challenge that. That's where you want to be at. That's where you're trying to get to. But yeah, back to what I was saying, these kids out here are having sex. They're having sex faster than we were when we were kids. My mom used to tell me, look, me and my parents never had that talk. I had to kind of learn that in school and, yes, fucked up, porno and all that stuff. I learned what my man stick does. There's no amount of security you could put on a phone to stop a kid from visiting a porn site. There's so many different ways to get there. So rather than being mad and scolding them, if you ever find something like that on the phone, talk to them, because they're curious. They're starting to have sexual feelings, waking up with boners, and girls are wet for no reason and stuff like. Talk to your kids. Sex is important, It used to be a taboo subject, but now it's like a fucking handshake today. You need to tell your kids there's STDs out there. They could get pregnant when they can't afford to do so. You know what I mean? My mother always asked me why I didn't think about having another kid after my son. This reason right here. This is it. Because it's terrifying as a parent to know that my son is growing up and he's going to be out there dating, and eventually he's going to be wanting to plan a family and shit like that. And I never thought I'd even get that far. You know what I mean? I always wanted to be a dad, but I didn't know this. I hear stories, but here I am living it. And yeah, I'm happy that I'm around for this part of his life, because I could steer him in the right direction. I gotta catch it early. And as parents, if you care, you catch that shit early, man. You give them the talk as soon as possible, man. You just do that. Other than that, enjoy the content on my page. You know what I mean? Like and subscribe. Give a shout out to my man Jay Fisk, Thug Rose out there. And to all my fans, I love you guys. All the support you're giving me, I appreciate it. More content to come. I'm going to do something not so dark. Probably a skit coming soon. I'm working on some characters. I'm writing some material down, so there's shit going to be coming. But I'm going to close this video now. Y'all have a good day. I'm going to try. I got to go into the fucking office. Probably the worst place I ever wanted to be. But bills got to be paid, right? But yeah, I'm out. Y'all have a good one.